On a quiet street in Strongsville, Ohio, where neighbors knew each other by name and families gathered on front porches at sunset, the Schirrilla family seemed to fit perfectly into the picture of suburban life. Natalie and John were the kind of parents people admired, steady, devoted, always putting family first. To those who passed by their house, they appeared to be living the kind of life everyone hoped for, warm, safe, and full of love. Inside those walls, their world revolved around their daughters, Danielle and Mackenzie. Laughter often filled the rooms, mingling with the clatter of dinner plates and the chatter of teenage plans. Mackenzie, their youngest, was the heartbeat of it all. She had a smile that seemed to light up every corner she stepped into, and a contagious energy that made ordinary nights feel like adventures. She loved taking late-night drives with friends, singing along to songs at the top of her lungs, and capturing every moment on her phone. She wasn't the loudest or the most outgoing, but people were drawn to her warmth, the kind that made everyone feel like they belonged. Her circle of friends was close, bound by shared secrets, endless conversations, and dreams of what their futures might hold. She also had a boyfriend she adored, the kind of young love filled with promises of forever. To Natalie and John, though, she was still their little girl, the one they had tucked in at night, the one they had watched grow up with wonder and pride. Natalie was the ever-present, loving mom, the one who never missed a game or a school event. John, quiet and steady, was the anchor of the family. Together, they didn't just create a house, they built a home where love was felt more than it was ever spoken. Mackenzie's teenage years were marked by a rhythm familiar to many families: school, friends, weekend hangouts, late-night texts, and plans for the future. She was young, full of life, and surrounded by people who loved her. No one could have imagined how abruptly everything would change. On the evening of the 30th of July 2022, Mackenzie and her friends spent their night the way many teens do during the summer, laughing, talking, and trying to hold on to the last stretch of freedom before adulthood came knocking. There were photos taken, inside jokes shared, and the kind of careless joy that defines youth. It was supposed to be just another night out, but the early hours of July 31 would bring a darkness no one saw coming. The crash that occurred in the quiet stillness of that night would leave an unhealable wound. It would claim lives, shatter friendships, and turn a once ordinary family into the center of one of Ohio's most haunting tragedies. For Natalie and John, it was more than a headline. It was the moment their world collapsed. Mackenzie, just 17, was driving with her boyfriend Dominic Russo and friend Davion Flanagan when her car slammed into a building at nearly 100 miles per hour. Dominic and Davion were killed, while Mackenzie survived with serious injuries. At first, the Schirrillas believed, like so many others, that this was a terrible accident, the kind of tragedy that sometimes happens when young people get behind the wheel. But investigators soon suggested otherwise. They claimed that Mackenzie had deliberately crashed the vehicle, pointing to video evidence and data from the car that showed acceleration rather than braking in the moments before impact. Suddenly, their daughter was no longer just a survivor. She was being accused of murder.
Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it. Do you want my phone? No.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, just keep your hands right here.
After the crash, investigators first questioned Mackenzie's parents, Natalie and John, pressing them about her health, behavior, and state of mind leading up to the incident. They wanted to know if anything had seemed out of the ordinary.
Full transparency here. There's drugs in the car. She had a bag of mushrooms on her and a scale. Full transparency, guys. I'm sorry, I'm ripping the band-aid off. Okay. Drugs in the car.
So she was awake but not awake, so she was
In and out of consciousness. She had to be fully extracted from the vehicle. IFD. I know she has a severe leg injury.
Once finished, police turned to her close friends. They asked about Mackenzie's recent moods, her relationship with Dominic, and whether she had shown signs of conflict, stress, or health issues that could shed light on why that night ended in tragedy.
In the front seat tried to turn the wheel because of the fact they were going to go straight into a wall. And it doesn't say she heartbroke once. It was 90 miles per hour down that whole road. And I also think because of Kenzie's and Dominic's history, that they were fighting. I think Davion went on his phone to distract himself from the fighting. Although they were on drugs, they can also still be fighting with being on drugs.
It could have just been like a careless mistake. Like, I don't think Kenzie, even if she was like had road rage or she was arguing, I don't think her intention was to kill two people.
The courtroom became the stage for the battle that would follow. Prosecutors painted Mackenzie as reckless, manipulative, and dangerous, calling her hell on wheels. They claimed she had intentionally ended the lives of Dominic and Davion, fueled by emotional turmoil. The trial captivated not just the local community, but audiences across the country who saw in it a story of teenage recklessness turned deadly. But for Natalie and John, the trial was not a spectacle. It was their worst nightmare unfolding in real time.
In any way that she can. She's like devastated and tragic. He was the air that she breathes, okay? And they went with his cousin. We spent all kinds of time with him after the accident. What was the other thing?
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about the two dead people.
Dominic, okay? I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend, and I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No.
When Mackenzie Schirrilla was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years, Natalie and John sat frozen in the courtroom, struggling to breathe under the crushing weight of the judge's words. The sharp echo of the gavel felt like the final crack in the life they once knew, sealing their daughter's fate. The courtroom around them blurred as reality set in. For them, this wasn't just a sentence handed to Mackenzie. It was a sentence handed to their family. Tears streamed down Natalie's face, her hands clenched tightly together as if holding on to the last thread of hope. But even in the face of devastating finality, Natalie and John refused to give up. They stood firm, insisting that the crash was never an act of malice, but a tragic accident caused by a medical emergency, possibly a seizure. While others saw only guilt, they saw the little girl they'd raised, the one they believed in with every piece of their hearts. In their eyes, Mackenzie's story wasn't over, and neither was their fight for her.
Now, Schirrilla's parents are speaking out, insisting that the justice system got it wrong.
Show me one piece of evidence, one, that says she did this on purpose. Show it to me. Here it is. That's it. Then she's right where she belongs, and she's guilty of it. But there.
Poor families think she did it intentionally, and she didn't. And and they don't know. There's information they didn't see. There's information they didn't have. There's information we didn't see or have.
Should she be in prison for murder?
No, absolutely not.
Should she be in prison for aggravated vehicular homicide?
I don't know about the aggravated part, because I don't think you can still say why was going on the car. Should she have been charged with reckless vehicular homicide, 2 counts? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not if it was medical.
At the same time, Natalie and John know their heartbreak isn't theirs alone. 2 other families, those of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan, carry a pain that runs even deeper. A grief carved into their lives in a way that will never fully fade. Their lives, too, were forever changed that night. The Schirrilla family's story is far from reaching its end. Appeals are being prepared, evidence is being re-examined, and the debate over Mackenzie's guilt or innocence continues to stir emotions and divide communities. Some see her as a victim of a tragic mistake, others view her as the one responsible for an irreversible loss. But for Natalie and John, none of that alters the one truth that anchors their world. Mackenzie is their daughter. Their love for her is fierce, steady, and unyielding, even under the crushing weight of tragedy and public scrutiny. They vowed to stand beside her, to fight for her, to believe in her when few others do. Their path forward is steeped in pain, tangled with questions of justice, mercy, and what it truly means to be a parent when the world has already decided who your child is. There are no simple answers. Only a love that is raw, complex, and unbreakable. A love they cling to, even when everything else seems to be slipping away.